Hi, my name is Catherine Keats, and I'm going to talk about an informal assessment strategy, the memory matrix. The memory matrix is used to organize information and demonstrate relationships between that information. It's a simple design of rows and columns in a 2D diagram. The rows and columns are labeled, but the cells within the grid are empty. This is one example of a simple memory matrix. As you can see, the column and row headings are provided by the instructor, and the student is required to fill in the cells within the grid. The purpose of the memory matrix is to assess students' recall of information, to organize information into categories provided by the instructor, help improve memory and reading skills, and it also helps learn concepts, terms, and facts about a topic. This works best for assessing recall and organization of information, facts, and principles. It works well in courses with a high level of information such as sciences, history, languages. It works well after a lecture, reading, or video of a large amount of information. It helps break down that large amount of information and organize the information into a simple chart form. How it works. First, you would start by creating a simple grid of rows or columns. You can either do this with a Word document or an Excel spreadsheet. Then the instructor categorizes the information and completes the grid with the important information from the lecture, reading, or video. The instructor would then ensure that there's a good fit between the rows and columns and the answers within the cells. Revise accordingly. Once happy and satisfied with the matrix, the instructor can remove the information in cells and leave them blank. Then the instructor will ask the student to fill in the empty cells with brief words or short sentences. Then that information can be collected or reviewed on the spot, and the matrices are assessed for correctness and completeness of the information given by the student. You can mix it up a little bit. You can use a whiteboard or a flip chart. You can also complete the cells and leave the headings blank and ask the students to fill in the headings. You can have the students decide on the categories and then also complete the cells. And it can be completed independently or as a group assessment. And it can be a pre or post information assessment tool. The example I'm going to show, I'm a medical radiography instructor, and these are 3 skull x-rays. And when we're taking skull x-rays, there's a lot of tiny little technical details we have to remember. One good way to do it is with a memory matrix. Basically, we have the 3 different projections or the 3 different x-rays over here. And then I have 3 different technical details that the students would have to memorize. So here would be the degree of angulation, the direction, and then the centering point. This is a completed matrix. You can see that I have numbers in this one. We have 1-word answers here, and over here a short little sentence. So this is a tidy little amount of information. It's actually a large amount of information, kind of simplified into this chart form. It helps the student recall and remember this information. Limitations to the strategy. It can take something very complex and reduce it into a simple matrix. That's both a pro and a con. A limited amount of information is on the matrix, and the matrix can make this complex information appear simple and boring. If the categories overlap or blend together, a more complex matrix, such as the defining features matrix, may be more appropriate and useful. And by the instructor providing the categories or labels for the matrix, the students are prevented from creating their own categories. Advantages of the strategy. For students, it's a visual graphic appearance. It helps strong visual learners. It helps students manage, organize, and remember that large amount of information. Recall is easy and efficient in this format. And due to its graphic nature, the information can be read and assessed quickly, which means the feedback can be given quickly. For the instructor, this strategy informally assesses recall and organization of the information. It assesses the student's understanding of the relationship between their information, and the instructor can assess quickly and easily. A medium amount of time and energy is required to create this assessment. Best practices. It's best for recall, categorizing, and organizing information as mentioned before. It's best to start small, especially if students are unfamiliar with this type of matrix. So I showed you a small example of a 3 by 3, but of course, as they become more familiar and there's a large amount of information, you can create a larger grid. Cells only contain brief phrases or words, so you don't want too much information contained within these cells. Feedback for the learners. It's simple and easy. The assessment can be quickly scanned and assessed. Feedback is given promptly, so you can do it right after, like a post-assessment. Everyone can complete it and everyone can review it and see where they went wrong and what they could improve. So it's done promptly after a lesson. Student can immediately revise the memory matrix, so if they've made any errors, they can go back and change it. And data can be analyzed to look for areas of concern, such as incorrect responses or patterns of errors. And not only is this a post-assessment, but it can be used as a pre-assessment as well, or you can actually do it as both the pre and post-assessment. This is the reference I used for this assessment technique. It's called Classroom Assessment Techniques, the Handbook for College Teachers. Thank you very much.